Hey everyone, welcome back to Coded Throw. In this video, I'm going over a Patreon request, which is to give your character a true first person. I get it if you're making a really hyper realistic parkour game. So for example, in this tutorial, we're going to be making this toggle mode. And when you look down, you'll see your character. And when you start doing your animations, you're going to want to make sure you don't have flips and stuff like that, maybe, unless you really want that. And it looks nice and all, but yeah, it is very wobbly. So the first thing I'm going to do is head over to my game mode or world settings. If you don't have it enabled, you can just go to Windows, World Settings, or you can click Blueprints and just go to your CBP sandbox character. So I usually just click this to find it directly so I don't have to navigate. But yeah, you can just go to your Blueprints. So the first thing we're going to do is just head over to your Blueprints folder and then click on CBP sandbox character, double click it, and it'll present you with this blueprint editor with this orange looking character. And in the event graph, I'm just going to add my switch camera. So I'll put in C, or I'll just hit C on my keyboard and just call this switch camera. And I'll just open this up so I can fit my blueprints in here. And for this one, I'm just going to add a debug key G, and this will pretty much be our camera switch. And what I'm going to want to do is flip flop because I want to switch between third and first person. So now I'm just going to hit compile and save for now. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to add a spring arm, and I'll just leave this as spring arm 1, and I'm going to parent it to the mesh. And then I'm going to add a camera. And then after my spring arm 1 is attached, I'm going to hit add and add a camera. And I'll just leave the name as camera 1, which will automatically be parented to my spring arm 1 because I had this selected when I hit add. So I'll hit compile and save. And now I'm going to go over to my viewport. And for my spring arm, I'm just going to reset my location and rotation, just like that. And then for my camera, and my camera is going to have this unwanted distance. I want it to be right up against my mesh. So when I hit spring arm, I'm going to set this target arm length to 0. And that looks good. And now what I want to do is parent my spring arm to the head. So since your spring arm 1 is parented to your mesh, you're just going to head over to this button that says socket, look for parent socket. And then when you click this folder icon, you can search for your socket or bone names, and I'll just select head, and it's automatically going to come up looking like this. And now what I'm going to do is just play with my camera angles. So I am going to, so I want it to look like this, where this handle thing is on the top right. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees on the Z and then negative 90 on the X. And then I also want to push it forward. So for the location, I'll put the Y of 10. And when you go to your gizmo, you want to make sure this white dot is right in front of your character's face. So I'll hit compile and save. And now it won't be able to switch us to this camera because we haven't actually changed it in the blueprints yet. So what I'm going to do is add a set active, and I'll just do the regular camera. So this is still our third person. And I'll copy paste this and just put it down here and attach the B to it. And then I want to set active for camera 1. And I'll copy paste this and put this down here as well. And then I'll hit set active or new active for the first top left camera, and then also for the bottom right camera 1. And that's all we really need for this tutorial, or for this. That's all we really need for this because we are using the spring arm. If you're not using the spring arm and maybe you have a different setup, you can just add the use controller rotation, yeah. And on the top one, you would turn it off because this is set to the third person camera. And then for the bottom one, you can set it on because you want to be able to look up and down. But I'll just leave this here for now. And now when I go over to my character and hit play, and since I set it to debug key G, when I hit G on my keyboard, you're going to see that my character is now in true first person. And when I look down, I can kind of see my legs. And I can see everything. It's going to be pretty wobbly, but that is because of the animations we're using. These are really meant for third person, but it does give it a very realistic look, and it will probably cause some people motion sickness. But it does look really nice, but maybe for like a YouTube video and not so much for actual playing a whole game through. Another thing you can do is when you go over to your camera, you can increase your field of view. So if I did something like 120 and hit compile, then it's going to look a little better when you're actually close to the objects, in my opinion. So for example, from here, yeah, actually it looks pretty fine. And I can actually see my whole body doing stuff. I can see both of my arms and my legs. And yeah, that's pretty much a quick tutorial on adding the true first person to your character using the game animation sample provided by Epic Games. Thanks for watching Code with Ro. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.